So the actor's nickname in this is Kevin Van Hattrick. That is a nickname if there ever was one. And in continuing with the tradition, he also has his brother Belial. We are talking very specifically about the sequel to Basket Case. Basket Case 2, released in 1990. This one is 90 minutes long, and overall, I like this one. Taking some place after the massive fall from the hotel, some people start to investigate what's going on, saying, "Hey, what is up with what's with this conjoined twin, and why is he like what was everything that was going on?" And we start delving a little bit more deeper into the love life for Belial. Yes, this deformed twin does fall in love, and we also get to see a reference to the movie Freaks again. Really need to see that movie, apparently. 2 movies within a week or whatever reference it. Anyway, yeah, this movie is pretty dang good. The first one people know about the most, but then the second one comes in and it's like, alright, so we have a man who's trying to form his own identity, and when his aunt's friend says, "Hey, come and live in here with a house of deformed people," is like, well, where else do you have to go? The hotel you're at just went the way of the dodo bird. So yeah, he joins, and when he arrives, we get to see a whole bunch of people with cartoonish, over the top makeup and stuff like that. And it's more just about him just trying to determine what is normal and what's not. So it's like, obviously he's living there with the friend, and he's interacting with all the people. Some, they can obviously speak English, which is, beneficial. And, as you're watching, you're like, okay, yeah, what is this leading up towards? Well, it raises the question of what really is normal. There's those who have the over-the-top makeup that are the weird ones, or is it just they just want to be left alone and just live in solitude slash spend time with those who recognize that they are human beings too. Or is it the ones who are always trying to go chase the money? Very specifically, a snooping tabloid reporter finds the locations and will stop at nothing to expose them, which is just absolute stupidity. And we get some. I liked this one overall. It's like with these movies, you just gotta take it with a grain of salt. The friend does a fine job. It's like she's always, she's trying to keep the peace. There's even a good sequence when the camera's spinning, and they're saying things like, "Hey, even though you may be too constitutionally weak or philosophically against fighting, that is a-okay. But those who are able to fight, this is your call to arms. Let's make this happen." And there is also an interesting couple of long takes in which Dwayne and a guy named Philip is sitting down in a restaurant where they're discussing what's normal, saying, "Hey, that my brother, he was the one that I was emotionally attached to," and then Philip is trying to present his side of the argument, but we know that what he's really trying to do is something else. So it just leads to a rather interesting scene when all of them just, I think, like 15? Yeah, 15 of them or whatever, just start to come in and just start mauling him, pretty much. And it is quite a scene to see. Holy smokes. But of course, also the the tabloid journalist gets his revenge. They get all the mutants, I guess, go on him, and they pretty much demolish him, which was really nice to see. Like, yeah, you really deserve that, you schmuck. Oh, yeah. This movie is trying to take some of the themes. Yeah. Some of the themes, which, in the first one was like the medical malpractice and the dark side of the id. This one's more like what would happen if the results of I wouldn't want to say like nuclear testing, but just more of like how just because someone looks different, we have to mock them when they already have their own emotions and ways of living and everything. So just to exploit them for a quick dollar for a tabloid is really just an a-hole move. And as far as I'm concerned, screw people like that. They're schmucks. Period. So yeah, I don't know. I like this one, but this one had. I think it took like what I noticed is that it took the motif for the first one just with the brother, and then it just more expanded on it because we do still get to see Belial how he even has fornicates a woman now fornicates another blob, which was pretty funny to see. We get to hear the sound, so that I like that. And man is trying to come to terms with his sense of that's what I'm looking for. His sense of like who he is, and ultimately decides to reattach his brother at the very end with some needles and stuff like that. And rather interesting, if not gruesome scenes. I'm just watching it. I'm like, the frick am I watching? So it just ultimately led to a movie that is really good, right up there with the sequel, I would say, because this is one of those rather than spoof or satirize. It just takes everything to the next level and works out. It works out well, particularly the settings. It's like when we get the couple of long takes, we get the declaration of war, and of course we get Kevin, whose name eludes me. With a Kevin Van Hattrick, he actually does a good job. It's like especially as how he's able to portray so many emotions at once. Liking his brother, 2 trying to get his life in order, and 3 claiming the revenge against the tabloid reporter, the photographer, and Philip. It's nice. We actually get to see some good acting ability as he descends into madness and ultimately rejoins his brother. So I don't know. For me, this movie just worked out well. Obviously not everyone's going to like it, and some people are going to say, "Oh, nothing happens," but even you have to admit that the makeup here special effects are pretty good. So I don't know, but you know exactly what you're getting. Yeah. Belial's back, and this time he's brought a few friends. So yeah, if you just want to have a scarily good time, then I recommend that you watch Basket Case 2.